I'm Dante from Dante Sports Data, where we find the most consistent players and teams across all sports every single day so you don't have to guess. Today, I'm going to be going over the 3 things that I wish I would have known from day one when I started sports betting, because it literally would have saved me thousands of dollars. And I was making smart plays and smart picks, but until you understand these 3 things, especially the last thing I go over, you are literally leaving so much money on the table. We're going to go over how to pick a plan, how to protect your bankroll, and how to get an edge and how to get it at the best price. So to start anything, you have to have a plan. So it's always good to just pick one main line. Could be picking sides, totals, this could be props. And it's always best too, when you're starting off, to pick one main sport. And it often helps if that's a sport you understand. So when you're learning sports betting, helps that you understand the sport, and that will help you get a faster learning curve, because you'll really know everything you're looking at when you're seeing different stats in sports books and different lines. Now, once you get more experience under your belt, then you can switch to multiple sports, multiple different props, totals, sides, and a mixture of things. But it's always good to start off focusing on one. And then you want to decide straight bets versus parlays. Now with parlays, I know people love them. I definitely utilize parlays, and we do inside Dante's data, but we use it in a cautious way. And so I don't recommend doing tons of lotto slips starting off. It'd be better to stick to straight bets or smaller parlays when starting off especially. And after you have a plan in place, you need to set your bankroll. And this is the most important thing. It's more important probably than the actual bets themselves. So your bankroll is money that you can lose without wrecking life. So this is not money for bills. Next, you're going to pick your unit size. That's going to be 1 to 5% of your bankroll. I recommend probably around 2%, a little lower on that side, especially when starting off and getting adjusted. But you do not want to be doing more than that. And you don't bet, no bet, if it does not meet your checklist. If it doesn't meet your betting criteria on what you've decided, and you're not sticking to a bankroll plan, then you don't bet it. So what I'm talking about when sticking to a bankroll, if you're betting $20 on one bet, $80 on another, putting $10 on another, putting $100 on another, $150 on another, that is not using proper bankroll management strategy, throwing around different sizes. You set one unit size, and that is the amount you play every single bet, and then once a week or so you can go back and recalculate what your unit size will be. And if you were to play those lotto parlays that are plus 1,000, plus 2,000, you're not putting one unit on those plays. You're putting maybe a fifth or less of a unit, a tenth of a unit on those plays. And rule number 3, demand an edge and get it at the best price. So I have a whole video in detail on bankroll management, and I think it's really helpful. So definitely check that out after this video. I'll leave it at the end because it goes into it in a lot more detail on how I place my parlays and how I play my parlays without blowing up my bankroll. But rule number 3 is demand an edge and get it at the best price. You can get the same bet, different books. One book might have it at minus 120. Another book might have it at minus 110. Another book might have it at plus 100. And in my odds shopping video, which I'll also leave at the end of this, I break down the difference between if you were to bet for 100 days with $100 with getting the same bet you were getting at minus 120 odds and winning 55% of your bets. You would actually lose $100 in this example. But over here, if you were getting that every single day and odd shopping getting it plus 100, you would actually be up $1,000. So that's how big of a difference this simple rule is. Literally worth thousands of dollars if you bet often, you bet multiple times a week. Definitely check out that video because it will definitely help out. Now, how do I use this and implement this on the day-to-day? Check the slate each day, check all the games with your plan. Do not keep switching up your plan. The worst thing you could do is try to switch your strategy every single week. To see a strategy through and through, you need to see it over weeks and months. It's not a day-to-day thing. You got to stick with your plan. You're going to have ups and downs no matter what plan you have. It's important to stick with one to see it through. Number 2, only bet when you have a clear reason. There's no reason to be betting, throwing random bets on random games, or you're watching live and just throwing it on. You have no reason to do it. That is a great way to blow up your bankroll slowly over time, even if you're using proper unit sizes. It's not the way if you don't have a clear reason for that bet. And what I mean by clear reasons is, does it have solid head-to-head matchup history? Does it have a great hit rate? Has it been hitting the last 5, 10, 15, 20 games? Do they have a difficult matchup that night? These are all things that we track inside Dante's data to be able to have an edge every single day. Number 3, stay inside your unit and your loss cap. So in the bankroll management video, I talk about this in more detail, but have a max unit count every single day that you're willing to play, aka willing to lose. Because every single bet you have to just assume worst case scenario. Let's say you're putting out 3 units, that might be your max for the day, or 4 units, 5 units max. And that also will depend on what unit size you have of your bankroll. Is it 1%? Is it 5%? Because if you have a 5% unit size, you're playing 5% of your bankroll, you're definitely not going to want to play 5 units. Versus if you have a 1% unit size and chose that, then you can have a little bit more volume. And then if you can, get the same line at other sports books, shop around, and we do that inside our Discord, inside Dante's data, where we can tag and find the best lines at every single book. So here are the 2 videos I was talking about. The bankroll management video is on the left. On the right here, I have the odd shopping video. It literally can save you thousands if you implement that strategy. Everything else is down below in the description. I'll see you in the next one.